supplying me with all of my things. That was very kind of you. All right. I really do. I really do. So hopefully I'm in easier beam as fast. You're awesome. Thanks. I have fun with you guys. This is nice. All right. Let's do a service, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe. You think?
Maybe I suppose. Ooh, would help if I... Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
And many kudos to everyone who has come on this Friday night before the big bar mitzvah, which I know we're all very excited about tomorrow. But it's also exciting and lovely, as always, to welcome Shabbat together. I love that we have a nice cross-generational group of people here. I'm just going to shout out Oliver, who's here, in advance of his bar mitzvah, so go you, woohoo! So it's lovely to see everybody, and it's lovely to get to welcome, in the midst of all of the craziness that is our lives, the peace and the relaxation and the comfort that Shabbat is here to bring us. So we're going to start our service with Shalom Aleichem, welcoming the angels who we imagine come to visit us on Shabbat and to bring us blessing. We'll sing Shalom Aleichem on page 24 of your prayer book.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'yuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
It's my pleasure to invite Jim and Judy Silberman to come up and light our Shabbos candles and offer us a reading to welcome the light that these candles will give. The reading can be found in your prayer books on page 3.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher
Kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, Vitzivanu lahadlik ner, Vitzivanu lahadlik ner, Vitzivanu lahadlik ner, shel Shabbat.
In the light of these beautiful Shabbos candles and the presence of one another, we continue to celebrate the coming of Shabbat with Lecha Dodi. We always say when we often say when we prepare to sing Lecha Dodi together that we imagine those ancient scenes of the mystics out in Sfat walking into the fields and greeting Shabbat as their beloved. And I gotta say, I'm not actually entirely sure that really happened that much, but it is a lovely image to contemplate, and it is a nice reminder that the presence of God and the presence of Shabbat can be felt anywhere where we choose to welcome it. So please join us in Lecha Dodi on page 20, and when we come to the final verse, we'll rise together and face the door.
Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, nikabla, shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad. Ishmi'anu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shem multiferet ve'itilah. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, nikabla, hitoreri, ki va'orech u'miori, Uri shir daberi, kevod Adonai alayik nigla. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, nikabla. Bo'i v'shalom ateret ba'ala, gam besimcha u'tzola, toch emunei hamzegula, bo'i chala. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, nikabla.
With a feeling of the presence of Shabbat encircling us and bringing us warmth and light, we continue in our service with the Chatzi Kaddish on page 26 in your prayer books.
Yitgadal vayitgadash shemei Rabbah, bi'almad yivarach irutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'gala, Uvizman kariv v'yemeru. Amen. Yehei shemei Rabba mevarach le'alam u'lal me'al maya yitbarach. Yitbarach vayishtabach vayitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh vayitadar vayitalev vayitalau shemei dekudesha riku le'la min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata Damiran bialma v'yimeru. Amen.
We rise rise now and join together in the call to prayer, the Baruch Hu on page 28.
Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Baruch Hu et Adonai, Hamevorach. Adonai, Hamevorach, Hamevorach, Leolam Vaed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim. We turn to the top of page 31 and we read together. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. We turn to page 32 for our celebration of God's love, Ahavat Olam.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amecha ahavta, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Hukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta, Otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shokbenu, Ukumenu na'asiach b'chukecha, V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, Uv'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu, ve'orech yameinu, uvahem nege yomam v'layla, nege yomam v'layla. Be'ahavadcha al tasir, Mimenu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael, Ohev amo Yisrael.
We turn to page 34 for the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
You may be seated. We continue with the Ve'ahavta on page 36.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha
v'chol avacha v'chol nafshecha v'chol meodecha v'hayu hadavarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavacha hayom alevavecha vishinantam livanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'aderech u'shokbecha uvkumecha u'kshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu latotafot b'neinecha uchtavtam al mizuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru vasitem et kol mitzvotai vitem kidoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihiot lachem lelohim ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem emet.
We turn in our prayer books to pages 40 and 41. Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. We join together in Micha Mocha, our song of peace and of freedom on page 40.
Micha mocha ba'elim Adonai, Micha mocha meta b'kodesh, Norah tehilot osef eleh, Norah tehilot osef eleh. Yai lai 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 lai, Yai lai 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 lai, Yai lai 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 Yai lai 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 lai.
We read together at the bottom of page 43. Give us a place to rest, Adonai, our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, haporeis sukat shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. And we join together now in the prayer in which we remember our long history of keeping Shabbat and celebrate our intention to do so long into the future, the Vishamru, which you can find on page 44.
Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam beni uvein b'nei Yisrael oti leolam leolam ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashalayim et haaretz
Uvayom Hashevi Shavat Vayi Nafash.
We now rise for the Amidah, the central prayer of our service, which begins with Adonai Sefatai on page 46.
Adonai Sefatai Tiftach Ufi Agid Tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibur v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Koneh HaKol V'Zocher Chazei Avot Va'imahot Umevi Gula Livnei V'neihem L'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen Baruch Atah Adonai Magen Avraham V'Ezrat Sarah Ata Gibur Leolam Adonai Mechayeh HaKol Ata Rav LaHoshia Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim Somek Noflim Verofech Olim Umatir Asurim Kayem Emunato L'Shemei Afar Michamocha Bal Gvurot Umido Melach Melech Meimi Umachaye Umatzmiach Yeshua V'ne'eman ata lahachayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai Mechayeh hakol Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh U'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalucha selah Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
You may be seated. We turn to the top of page 55 and we read together. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day, and may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat. We read together at the bottom of page 57. Page 57. You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answers to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha b'yirah na'avod. We're about to pray the Modim prayer, our prayer of gratitude. So I'd like to invite everyone to take just a moment to think of some things for which you are grateful today. We have little blessings and miracles coming into our lives every day. So if you can identify maybe 3 of those that you are specifically grateful for on this Shabbat. I would invite you to do so silently at this time. I think I've shared before that often when I do this practice, the first thing I think about is my shoes. Not because I'm excited about these shoes in particular, they're fine, but there's something about, there are shoes on my feet. I'm grateful for that. And if I don't stop and spend a moment thinking about gratitude, I'll never notice that that's a thing that I benefit from and for which I am deeply grateful. So thank you all for joining me in that practice. And let's read a few more words of thanks at the top of page 59. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us, so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth, which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha, ulecha na'eh lahodot. We join together in a prayer for peace, Shalom Rav, on page 60.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. V'tov be'enecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam.
Even on Shabbat, a time of peace and wholeness, we recognize that not all of those in our community are feeling entirely whole. There are many of us who are in need of healing, whether that be healing of mind or body or spirit. And a reminder, we did refresh the Misha Berach list at the beginning of the year, the Jewish year, I should say. So if you do not hear a name on this list that you think should be here, please follow the link in your e-newsletters to add another name to the list, or simply call the office and we can add it for you. On the Shabbat, we pray for healing for Steve Teplinsky, Esther Cohen, Olivia Jane, Linnea Katz-Pettit, Fredlyn Veal, Luca Eisenberg, Carol Miller, Shulamit Shira Bat Gittel Yehudit, Jahari Andre King, Fern Drescher, Bruce Sherman, Jeffrey Berlin, Ezra Kramer, Jane Zeft, William Gleason, Jeff Zemmel, Sybil Suvalski, Wendy Pollock, John Holes, Gershon Ben Avraham, Danielle Ben Bruria, Keith Mandel, Carolyn Newman, Kelly Adeniak, Carol Rort Trainer, George Grimm, Patrick Heppy, and Gary Elderbrook. And in addition to those whom I have named, we invite all of us to hold in our hearts all those we know in need of healing as we join together in the Mishaberach prayer, which you can find on page 253. Page 253.
Mishaberach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mekor habracha liavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
We'll take a few moments now for silent prayer, and we'll come back together with Oseh Shalom.
Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael.
One of the pleasures of still being relatively new to this congregation is that I keep getting to discover new quirky little things that are a little different about how we do things here. And one of my favorite discoveries so far has been something that you probably know or have noticed, which is that on the High Holy Days, Rabbi Noah likes to start most services off with a joke. This is not the normal pattern for the High Holy Days, but I think it's really great. I've never encountered this before, but what I love about it is that I think it helps put everyone in the congregation and on the bima at ease. And it's also, I think, a way of communicating that as seriously as we take many things here, including exploring Jewish practice and education and pursuing peace and justice, we don't take ourselves as individuals quite so seriously. And I've been reflecting on the fact that this practice Rabbi Noah has of making jokes from the Bima fits into a really rich and long-standing tradition of Jewish relationship with comedy. If you try searching for Jewish jokes on the internet, you might find some things you don't like, but also you will find hundreds of jokes, many of which are really outstanding. I'm going to offer one joke that I enjoy. So a Jewish woman realizes that she hasn't spoken with her mother in quite a while, so watch out, guys. And she gives her a call. And she says, "Hi, Mom, I'm so sorry I haven't talked to you for so long. How are you doing?" And her mom kind of coughs a little on the other end of the line and says, "Well, I'm not doing so great, honestly, honey. I'm feeling a little weak." And the daughter, all of a sudden, she's very upset. She says, "I'm so sorry. What do you think is going on? Why do you think you're not feeling well?" And her mom says, "Well, to tell the truth, I haven't eaten in the last 38 days." And her daughter is totally shocked. She says to her mother, "Mom, you need to take care of yourself. You need to eat. Why on earth have you not eaten for the last 38 days? And she says, "Well, I didn't want my mouth to be full if you should call." Thank you for laughing dutifully at that joke. I think many factors play into what I would say is a bit of an overrepresentation of Jews in entertainment broadly and in comedy in particular. And not all of them are so pleasant, of course. They include things like our long history of being excluded from many professions, as well as an early perception of the entertainment industry as a whole as being something sort of seedy and immoral, and therefore not a suitable place for good Christians, leaving some space for Jews to come in. And of course, another historical reason for Jews' affinity for humor is, ironically, our extensive experience with suffering and persecution. Because early on, Jews realized that humor can be a very effective way of responding to hardship. Laughing at our sufferings help us to acknowledge them, to lament them to a degree, but without becoming mired in grief. And it also allows us to claim agency, to regain some ownership of what we're experiencing in the face of disempowerment and oppression. But what I want to speak about tonight is that laughing our way through difficult times is probably an older Jewish tradition than you realize, because it dates at least all the way back to this week's Torah portion, Vayera. And this portion concludes with the infamous and shocking tale of the Akedah, of the binding of Isaac, but it opens on a much more bucolic scene. Abraham is relaxing on a hot day by the entrance to his tent. I say he's relaxing. He's also recovering from an adult circumcision, which is no joke, but he's having a nice time in the sun. And then suddenly, in the midst of his repose, 3 unfamiliar men appear. And always the consummate mensch, Abraham jumps up and prostrates himself before these men, and he offers them sustenance. And he and his wife, Sarah, hurry to prepare not just food for them, but really a feast. And they gratefully eat this food, and they rest beneath the shade of a tree. And it turns out that this was a very smart move by Abraham and Sarah, because these men reveal themselves to be heavenly messengers. They inquire after Sarah, and then they announce that by this time next year, she will have given birth to a son. And Sarah overhears the men talking and is, understandably, a little incredulous, because at this point, she and Abraham are both advanced in years. The text explicitly tells us that Sarah is postmenopausal. It doesn't use the word menopause, but it's clear that's what it means. And after so many years of trying and not being able to get pregnant, now at this advanced age, it's no wonder that her first response is to laugh to herself and wonder how a miracle like this could possibly take place. Somewhat amusingly, at least to me, God overhears Sarah laughing and seems to resent it. God asks Abraham, "Why did Sarah laugh?" And when she denies that she laughs, God turns directly to her and replies, "No, but you did laugh." God's dismay notwithstanding, I think that Sarah's laughter is quite a justifiable response. I tend to imagine her laugh as a kind of snort of disbelief, an involuntary expression of doubt and frustration after all of these years of hardship that she's experienced. Alternatively, I suppose it might be a laugh of surprise or delight. Perhaps Sarah trusts God's messengers, and she's thrilled to learn that her long wait for a child is about to finally come to an end. I think there's also, though, a more melancholy and somewhat prophetic dimension to Sarah's laugh, because we who read the Torah know that the messenger's promise is not an empty one. Sarah will become pregnant. She will give birth to a son, Isaac. But we also know that while Isaac is still quite young, Abraham will obey a call from God to sacrifice him upon a mountaintop. And though an angel will stay his hand at the last moment and Isaac will be spared, Sarah will die immediately thereafter. According to the rabbis, this is not a coincidence. Rashi tells us that Sarah heard the announcement of the Akedah, of the call to bind Isaac, that her son had been made ready for sacrifice and nearly had been sacrificed, and her shock was so great that her soul flew from her and she died. So, in a way, Sarah was right not to entirely believe the men's promise. She did give birth to a son, but she did not, unfortunately, live to see him grow to full adulthood. This dark dimension of Sarah's laughter, I think, is unfortunately especially resonant for us today. I don't think I need to enumerate all of the challenging things that are going on in the world for us as Jews, as Americans, as human beings. We all know what they are for each of us. Suffice it to say, we're living through, I think, a difficult and divisive and tumultuous period of time. But what I do want to remind us all of is the fact that laughter is there as a powerful tool for helping us cope. It can bring us some respite when we are weary, some solace when we are troubled. Laughter can help to soothe our aching souls. Laughter can also be a way of highlighting and crying out against injustice. I'm reminded of an Onion headline, which was first published in response to a mass shooting outside UC Santa Barbara in 2014, but which has resurfaced multiple times since then. "No way to prevent this, says only nation where this regularly happens." I think this headline is effective and funny, if darkly so, because it rings really true. It's pointing out a grim reality that needs to be confronted. Whatever each one of us understands the root causes of gun violence in our country to be, these kinds of headlines call on us to identify and address those causes. And I think Sarah's laughter might be operating in a similar way. It could be seen as some sort of laugh of protest, reflecting back to God that there is something hollow about God's promise that she will finally have a son. On the other hand, though, as tinged with darkness as Sarah's laughter is, it's also the source of her son's name. Abraham names his son Yitzchak, which means he will laugh, a name that clearly refers to his mother's laughter upon hearing that he's going to be born. And Sarah herself declares that God has made joy for me. Whoever hears will rejoice over me. It's arguably a strange choice for Abraham and Sarah to name their son after his mother's incredulous laughter at the prospect of him being born, but there's also wisdom to it. Abraham and Sarah understand how powerful laughter can be, that it can hold up a mirror to hypocrisy and bad behavior, and it can also bring us comfort and healing. It's bold of them to assert that Isaac will laugh, an insistence that he will prove to be both perceptive and resilient. I like to think that the name reflects something about the way Sarah taught Isaac to respond to the world in the brief time that she did have with him. Maybe she anticipated that his life would not be easy and explicitly prepared him to laugh in the face of difficulty or even danger. And maybe that preparation is what allows him to survive the extraordinary ordeal of the Akedah and then go on to build a life for himself afterwards. Perhaps Sarah's laughter is a talisman that protects her son. I think laughter can work the same way for us. In challenging times, which is to say both now and I think most of the time, There's an awful lot that each of us needs to do. We need to find the time to do our jobs, to care for our families and our communities, to stay on top of what's going on in the world, to take action for causes we believe in, but we also need to take care of ourselves. And one way to do that is to find opportunities to laugh. Rueful laughter, shocked laughter, delighted laughter, all of it can help us to cope with challenges and to keep moving forward. So as we go forward into this Shabbat and beyond, I invite us all to keep looking for opportunities to laugh and to bring laughter to those around us. Because after all, as Jews, we know that the odds have often been stacked against us, but I think laughter has helped us a little bit to beat those odds. Shabbat Shalom. We're going to move now into the concluding portion of our service, which begins with the Aleinu on page 282, and it is my pleasure to invite Steve Wallace and Linda Berlin to join me on the bima to open the ark for us as we rise for the Aleinu and turn again to page 282. I should say our president, Steve Wallace, and our past president, Linda Berlin.
Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latei gedula liyotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kugoye haratzot, velo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, Vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu koreim umishtachavim umotim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu, v'nemar v'haya Adonai L'melech al kol haaretz, bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad.
You may be seated. Our thoughts now turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. On this Shabbat, we remember Brad Rose, and we remember for Shiva for the first 7 days of mourning, Bernard Plotkin. We're also observing Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning, for David Cohen, Carol Dubin, Georgine Kesselman, Arlene Minkoff, Debbie Rice, and Bernard Wessler. And on this Shabbat, we are observing yard sites for a number of members of our community. We remember Melvin Ascott, Abraham Ausman, Bernard Benzman, Maurice W. Bonnick, Max Lewis Cook, Henry Dietz, Min Drake, Richard Dubin, Virginia Edelman, Mayor Fox, James L. Gold, Tybee Gorbitz, Bernice S. Gruber, Beatrice Habush, Gertrude Hinden, Abe Kaminsky, Doris T. Canny, Judith D. Kierking, Max Krantz, Esther N. Lowasser, Eva Leopold, Rose M. Levin, Sylvia Luber, Ida Lurie, Sherman Marcus, Dr. Kenneth Mendelson, Wayne O'Connell, Edward Paley, Paul Pinsker, Hy Plopper, Sarah Lee Rabinowitz, Fred Raffel, Morris Rotman, Ann Schneider, Harry Schoenfeld, William Schoenfeld, Erna Schoppler, Beverly Shuminsky, Manny Schwartz, Rhea Silberman, Ida Singer, Bernie Sokol, Aaron Starobin, Leo Stockland, Ruth Traxler, Harry Waldinger, David Wallace, Amy K. Welch, Mildred Wolfe, Barbara Weber-Zamsky, and Mary Ziegler. And if there's anyone else whom you are remembering on this Shabbat, whose name I did not say and I inadvertently mispronounced, please feel free to share that name with me and with the community as my eyes go around the room. In honor of all those whom we have mentioned and all those we hold in our hearts and all those who have none to say Kaddish for them, we rise together and turn to page 294 for the mourner's Kaddish. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabbah ve'alma divra chirutei v'amlich malchutei b'chayei uvyomei chon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'alam u'almei almaya. Yit barach v'yishtabach v'yit pa'ar v'yit romam v'yit naseh v'yit hadar v'yit aleh v'yit halal shmei dekusha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who creates peace in the heavens help us to create peace with each other here on earth and to comfort one another when we are bereaved. And together we say, Amen. You may be seated. Just going to announce a few things. We will, of course, tomorrow morning have Torah study and services and a Kiddush luncheon, so if you can join us for that, please do. And then later in the day, we will have, exactly, drum roll please, we will have Rabbi Noah's bar mitzvah, so to speak, celebrating his 13 years of being here with us at Congregation Shalom. It's going to be a lot of fun. There will be an actual little ceremony where he's going to read Torah. So if you want to see him be a bar mitzvah boy, come please do that. And then also there will be a great party, and there will be music and dancing and food and people dressed like it's the late 80s, early 90s. So if you have outfits you can wear for that, please do. So that is tomorrow, and then there was something else I was going to mention, and I don't know what it is. Steve, are you aware of anything I should mention, or should I in fact invite you to come and share some announcements with us? I believe that our president, Steve Wallace, is going to come up now and share some additional announcements with us, rather than simply my improvised ones. Come on up, Steve.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you.
Our Sunday, November 17th, 2 p.m., Women of Shalom and the LX Senior Club have a doo-wop and soda fountain revival here at the synagogue. November 24th, we have Israel No Sugar with the community shlicha Noah Gerasi. That program starts at 10 a.m. Come and enjoy coffee, conversation, candor about current events in Israel. We have on November 24th, 7 o'clock p.m. here at Shalom, one of our most enduring interfaith events, our annual Interfaith Thanksgiving service with our neighbors at the North Shore Presbyterian Church. This marks the 68th year of worshiping together. It's a tradition, dates back to our founding rabbi, Harry B. Pastor of blessed memory, who believed so strongly in interfaith dialogue and discussion. This service was embraced by Rabbi Ron Shapiro and now by Rabbi Noah and Rabbi Abby, so it's integral to the fabric of our synagogue. Tikkun Ha'ir is collecting items for their holiday gift drive. That drive goes on from today until December 19th. And we have a few spaces left on our adult civil rights tour traveling the American South in April, the 23rd through the 27th of 2025. We'll visit Memphis, Birmingham, Montgomery, Selma, and Atlanta, studying firsthand the history of slavery, racism, and the civil rights movement. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
I have to say, when Steve was listing the places that trip is going to visit, the civil rights trip, which I think is going to be extraordinary, I heard Birmingham as Burning Man, and I had a real moment of cognitive dissonance. Like, what role does that play in the, oh, never mind, Birmingham, okay. Anyway, if you can come to that trip, please do. I think it's really going to be a special and eye-opening experience. So we're going to conclude our service now with Kiddush and with song. So please rise if you are able and join us on page 5 for the Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'yahava uv'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila l'mikra'ei kodesh zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'charta v'yotanu kidasha mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha yahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen.
L'chaim.
And now I get to do one of my favorite things and ask Miss Wendy. Miss Wendy, what is our closing song this evening?
I'm not going to do anything crazy.
Not
I'm
crazy
glad you
sounds
laughed.
great.
You know what? We needed that tonight. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.